Welcome back to windy Nebraska, folks. I'm Drake for American Arms Channel, and today we're taking a look at the Super Black Eagle 3 again. But today specifically, we're taking a look at how to bring that point of impact down when compared to point of aim. Specifically, how to turn that 80-20 to 90-10 patterning Benelli into a 50-50 to a 70-30 patterning Benelli, dependent upon load and individual gun. I've obviously already had success with this, but I'm going to show you today what just adding a higher sight can do, and that's our solution. The solution costs under $20. My specific solution is the Hi-Viz Shooting System's M Series magnetic front sight. It is the M300 model, which means it'll fit the Benelli Super Black Eagle series with their slightly fatter rib. The beads that come on the Benelli are fairly small, and while I like a small bead typically, they do lend to putting that point of impact higher because you're flatter on the rib when you're looking at the bead. Now, typically at Benelli, you just hold the barrel slightly underneath your target as you're swinging through, and you fire and it breaks it. Look at the bird, not the gun, etc. But in the case of the Super Black Eagle 3, that may be difficult for some people. I found a little bit of difficulty with it after a short amount of time, but then I grew accustomed to it, and now it's second nature. But adding this sighting system, this front bead, has definitely helped me as far as just point shooting or aiming the gun like you do for turkeys. So this is the Hi-Viz Shooting System solution, and the one problem with this system is it's not a screw-on, it's not a glue-on, it's magnetic. So although it comes with two different bead sizes, it comes with multiple colors and also a dual color, it doesn't really give you an option to stay tight or stay on, and may slide, as I've experienced, under heavy recoil. The solution to that has been a small dollop of super glue on the magnet, as well as on the two tabs that hold the sight onto the vent rib. This is not a permanent fix, but it makes sure that it stays in place, and if it comes loose, it comes loose. It's just my solution, but overall, the real solution is making sure you find a front bead that stands about a 1/16th to an 1/8 of an inch proud of the original bead, depending upon how far you want to bring it down. Really, the more proper way to do this would be to install a really fat screw-in bead in replacement of the OEM bead that comes on the shotgun. That's enough gabbing. I've showed you my solution. Now let's see what it does on target. We've got two loads that were the most egregious of the high shooting loads when we did that video. We've got a hevi-steel 1 1/4 #1 shot, 3" at 1500 feet per second, and we've got a hevi-steel 3.5" #3 shot, 1 3/8 at 1550. I patterned with the #2 on the original video, but because I didn't have any of those left, at least that were in an open box, I just decided to grab one of these, which was an open box. Same loading, just different pellet size, and it actually, with more pellets, will give us a little bit better idea of the consistency of the pattern. The choke is exactly the same. It is going to be the hevi-steel branded, or excuse me, not hevi-steel, the hevi-shot branded long-range choke, which is a full choke, and it is the extended ported model. It is made by Carlson's, and it has their 3 rings in it, which are step-down rings. It's supposed to help even out patterns. The choke patterns, amazingly, it's basically their cremator, the Carlson cremator, but I digress. Very good choke, my preferred choke for waterfowling, although Pattern Masters are fantastic. Enough gabbing, let's get into shooting. Alright, so we're just going to load both at once. Got the #1 3" load, 1 1/4 hevi-steel at 1500 first, and then its 3.5" brother, 1 3/8 at 1550, #3 second. The bottom ring is going to be the #1s, the top ring is going to be the #3s, but you can't see that right now on the camera because I'm zoomed out. But this is I would say a verified 25-yard mark, but this is pretty dang close, and this is what I like to pattern my shotguns at. It gives me personally a good idea of what's happening. I am going to kneel, I'm going to sling up, just like I was shooting at a turkey or something, or shooting a rifle, just so that I can give a very consistent point of aim. What I'm going to do is I'm just barely going to cover the center of the target with my bead to see what it does. This should, in theory, put the bead dead center over where you would hold the barrel under the bird and where the bird would sit over the barrel, if that makes sense. I hope it does. First shot. Second shot. All right, kind of let that second shot be a little bit loose on me. It might have broke sooner than I wanted it to. But let's go down range and see what happened. It looks like the first shot's good. The second shot is still a little high. So the first shot's pretty good. That's our number ones. And I know I kind of pulled the second shot here, these number threes, slightly. It's still a dead bird. You can still see there's plenty of pellets right where I wanted it to hit, but the majority of the pattern's above that aim point. And my bead, for reference, was about right here when the shot broke, a little bit covering. And that is one problem with the big fatter beads, is that they will put the pattern, or they will put the point of aim behind them, and you won't get as precise of a look at what you're trying to point at. So they will cover up your target pretty effectively. It is a shotgun though, so just point and shoot. It's not a perfect solution, but as you can see, the first round was proper. That one is mostly me, but it definitely has brought it down significantly and has a very nice, even spread of pellets compared to the number twos that originally were tested without the addition of this thicker bead. I hope that video was informative, guys. This Hi-Viz sight is really cool. It lets you interchange the beads pretty quickly. When you're not super gluing it onto your vent rib, it actually works pretty well as just an option for a rib trap gun if you want just a larger sight picture, a larger bead, a different color for different light conditions. It offers a lot of versatility. I'm really happy with it. It was a good buy. I think it was around $17 after tax at Cabela's. You can probably find it cheaper than that. But really great gun. Obviously the SB3 is an awesome gun. I love it, but it does shoot a little bit higher and you do have to get used to that. The higher bead, the bigger bead will help solve that, but it won't be perfect all the time, but it'll get you more on target if you're struggling with that. I may or may not pop it off this waterfowl season, this fall. Don't know. We'll see how it goes, but until next time, guys, as always, God bless and keep your powder dry.